Hi there, I'm Mr. Cohen. I'm the School Counseling Director here at Indian River High School, and this is a presentation for current 8th graders and their parents for the scheduling process for next year. In this presentation, we're going to talk briefly about what if you're applying to an academy for next year as a 9th grader. We're going to talk about the scheduling process and give you some scheduling tips, and then we'll give you some sports information. All right, so the first thing you need to know is if you are an 8th grader this year in the 22-23 school year and you're thinking about applying to one of the academies at Deep Creek, Grassfield, or Oscar Smith for next year, that's perfectly fine. But for right now, for the month of February and a little bit into March, we're going to assume that you're going to be coming to Indian River High School, so you're going to be picking classes for our school with your 8th grade teachers. If anyone's interested in the Governor's School for the Arts, that deadline was December 6th, but you are welcome to contact them to see if they have any spots still available. In the city of Chesapeake and in Virginia, there's pretty much 3 types of diplomas. We have the Applied Studies Diploma for students that are receiving special education and they're taking classes maybe outside of regular education classes. The majority of our students will either get the Standard Diploma or the Advanced Studies Diploma. The next 2 slides will give you kind of a breakdown between the differences between a standard diploma and the advanced studies diploma. You can see that for English, it's the same requirement. For math, there's 1 additional credit for the advanced studies diploma. Science and history, there's 1 additional credit. PE is pretty much the same. One of the biggest differences is for the advanced studies diploma, a student has to take 3 credits of 1 foreign language or 2 credits of one and 2 credits of another. Pretty much all the other requirements are the same, but a student needs a total of 22 credits for the standard diploma and 26 for the advanced studies diploma. And here are the requirements for SOL testing. Everyone has to pass 5 SOLs to graduate from high school. 1 in math, 1 in science, 1 in history, and 2 in English, which will be in English 11 the junior year, which is the reading test and the writing test. I did put a little notation there about Algebra 1 or geometry in 7th or 8th grade. So for example, if you take Algebra 1 in 8th grade and you pass the class and pass the SOL, you've got your verified credit for math. But when you come to high school, we have to test every single high school student in math SOL testing at least once. So you're going to take another SOL test in math because we need that for accreditation purposes. All high schools in Chesapeake operate on a 4x4 block schedule, which means students are going to take 8 classes in 9th grade, but you're only going to take 4 classes per semester. First semester is September through January. Second semester is February through June. These classes meet every single day for 90 minutes each day. Here's a sample 9th grade schedule. You can see that first semester this student might have English, Algebra 1 Part A, PE, and a science class, and then second semester they may have history, ROTC, Algebra 1 Part B, and art. You can also see the times of the classes, and third block does include a half-an-hour lunch. For scheduling purposes, this is the timeline we're going to be following. On January 12th, I'm going to Indian River Middle School, and on January 17th to Greenbrier Middle School, I'll be meeting with the 8th grade teachers and the students to talk about picking classes for next year. In mid-January to early February, the 8th grade counselors will work with the 8th graders to pick their classes in Student View, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then on March 3rd, course request letters will be updated or uploaded to Student View and Parent View, where students and parents can see the 8 classes that were chosen for next year. Parents and students will have until March 7th to make any changes. If you have an IEP, which means you're in special education, you're probably going to have to take an academic support class each semester next year as a 9th grader. So those are going to be 2 of your 8 classes. If any student does not want to be in academic support, or let's say the IEP team changes what's required in 9th grade, Indian River High School will have to wait to get a signed IEP with the changes before we can make any changes in the student's schedule. We will be reviewing IEPs over the summer to make sure everyone is in the right classes. If any student in 8th grade or parent has any questions about scheduling over the next couple months in the winter or spring of 2023, please email me directly at scott.cohen@cpschools.com. I'll be your contact person for the next couple months. I won't be your school counselor when you come to Indian River High School, but I will be the person you can speak with for the next couple months if you have any questions. All right, so this slide tells you how we're going to be picking classes for next year. If a student is in regular English 8 this year, they're going to be automatically signed up for regular English 9. If a student is in Honors English 8 this year, they're going to automatically be signed up for Honors English 9. And you can look to see that we're pretty much following the same plan for science and history. For students that are in Math 8 or pre-algebra, you're going to be signed up for Algebra 1 in parts, Part A in the fall and Part B in the spring. And if you're currently in Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, you'll automatically be signed up for Honors Geometry. Most of our 9th graders that are really good math students will take Algebra 2 as well in 9th grade, so you will have to pick that as one of your extra choices. If you're in Honors Geometry as an 8th grader, you will automatically be signed up for Algebra 2, and some of our students want to get ahead in math and they want to keep going, so they may sign up for Trigonometry as a rising 9th grader, but you would have to choose that as one of your extra classes. And remember, if you have academic support classes, you have an IEP, you're probably going to be signed up for your academic support classes as a rising 9th grader, which means you will not have any electives in 9th grade because those will be 2 of your 8 classes for next year. If a teacher believes that a student should go from regular to honors from 8th to 9th grade or vice versa, or a parent wants to make a change or a student wants to make a change, you will have the window of March 3rd to 7th to make those changes. March 7th is going to be the final day to make any changes for the 23-24 school year, so it's going to be really important that all parents and guardians and students check Student View and Parent View on March 3rd to see the course request letter to confirm the 8 classes for next year. For those of you that don't know, we still have Chesapeake Virtual Academy in the city of Chesapeake. This is the online program where students can take all or some of their classes at home and not come to school. These classes are asynchronous. They are taught by Chesapeake teachers, not necessarily from Indian River High School, but there is no live instruction. So students who are interested in applying to take one or more classes or full-time CVA classes next year as a 9th grader, you will need to go online to make sure you complete the application. And the application was made available on January 10th. If you want to sign up for CVA online classes, for now, we want you to enter into Student View with your 8th grade counselor the non-CVA classes. Just pretend like you're coming to Indian River High School. Once you complete the application and you agree to all the conditions and you let them know what classes you want to take, Indian River High School will get the word, and then once you're approved, we will change your regular classes to the CVA online classes. We'll also make sure that if you have an IEP, the CVA program will determine if online classes are the best place for you or not. When students apply for CVA online classes, you're going to have to let us know if you want to be part-time or full-time, and if you're part-time, do you want your in-person classes in the morning or in the afternoon? Now, as we start to talk about picking classes for next year, a lot of students want to know, about honors classes. Honors classes are designed for students that are typically academically gifted, who want to be challenged, who can move pretty quickly through the class, and typically for students who make A's and B's. So make sure if you are asking to go into honors classes and you've never been in honors classes before, that you are up for the challenge. The worst thing I would want for anyone is for them to be taking all honors classes and making C's and D's, whereas they could have been in regular classes making A's and B's. For math, a lot of students will say, well, Mr. Cohen, I don't want to take Algebra 1 in parts. I just want to do Algebra 1 in one semester. The majority of our students, and when I say the majority, we're talking about 80 to 90% of our 9th graders that take Algebra 1 in parts. We find that it moves at a nice steady pace by taking it all year. For students who want to take algebra or geometry in one semester, it moves very, very quickly, and there's not a lot of extra time for review. So be very cautious about choosing to go into a one semester algebra or geometry class. These straight classes are designed for students that typically make A's and B's. And remember, if you are an 8th grader and you're in Algebra 1 or Honors Geometry this year, you're going to automatically be signed up for one math class, but you may want to consider taking 2 math classes to get even further ahead. All right, so as a quick review, all students should be signing up as a rising 9th grader for an English class, for a history class, and I forgot to mention in the earlier slide, we're going to sign everybody up for World History 1 if you're in regular History 8 this year. But there is another class called World Geography. If you would rather take World Geography and not take World History 1, that's perfectly fine, but you will need to let me know when that March 3rd through 7th window opens up that you would prefer to take World Geography instead of World History. If you're an Honors US History 8 this year, you're going to automatically take Honors World History. There is no Honors World Geography. And then for rising ninth graders, you're going to take a science class, either honors biology or environmental science. You're going to take 1 or 2 math classes. You're going to have to take PE 9, that's a requirement. And you may want to consider a foreign language. Remember, the foreign language is not required for the standard diploma. So if there are other electives you want to take, you may want to consider those as well. And remember, you can only pick 8 classes. 8 is the magic number. You need to make sure that if you are in orchestra, band, or chorus this year as an 8th grader, you sign up for orchestra, band, or chorus. If you don't sign up for it, I'm not going to know that you want to take it. If you want to sign up for AVID, you need to list AVID as one of your choices. If you want to take ROTC, you need to sign up for ROTC as one of your choices. If you're in Spanish 1 this year and you want to take Spanish 2 next year, you have to sign up for Spanish 2. I will not know what you want to do unless you put it in the computer when you work with your 8th grade counselor. And then just remember, of course, that if you are in special education classes, you're probably going to have to take some type of academic support first and second semester, which means as a rising 9th grader, you will not be able to take electives. Having said that, if you are a music student or you really want to be in ROTC, you can talk to your 8th grade counselor, and there is a way for us to maybe not have you take science or history in 9th grade to make room for that elective that you really, really want, and that can certainly be done. And then, of course, all the other classes are just electives, and you would need to review the elective list to make sure you know what classes you want to sign up for. There are a couple extra programs that I just want to mention. So AVID, I know AVID exists at Indian River Middle School. It doesn't exist at Greenbrier Middle School. But if you want to be in the AVID program, there's an application that is due no later than January 27th. Your 8th grade counselor has the link. I believe the link is actually in this presentation as well. So you'll just be able to stop the presentation and click on the QR code. We also, just as a heads up, we have a program called Braves Academy. We identify rising 9th graders in the summertime who may need a little extra attention in terms of being successful in 9th grade. Maybe they missed a lot of days in 8th grade. Maybe those students didn't do so well on their report card in 8th grade, or maybe they have situations at home where they just need a little extra attention. You may be identified to be in our Braves Academy program. We're also going to be offering an Algebra 1 lab next year. You remember how I talked about Algebra 1? We suggest that you take it Part A and Part B. Well, some students will be recommended to take Algebra 1 as a 1-year class where they take it all year long, but every other day they have a math lab to help them with the classes. So it's still 2 math classes. It takes up 2 of your 8, but that's an opportunity for some students as well. We already talked about the Governor's School for the Arts. And then, of course, there is a program called College and Career Pathways. That's for any student that's maybe interested in trying to earn a associate's degree from Tidewater Community College while they're still in high school. That's something you'll need to talk to your school counselor about when you get to high school. All right, so I mentioned electives, and you're like, what electives are offered? This is the QR code, so you can actually stop this presentation for a second or pause it, scan the QR code, and you will be able to see all of the electives that rising 9th graders can take for next year at Indian River High School. Just remember that if you're in band, orchestra, or chorus, make sure this is your #1 elective. If you don't list it, I'm not going to put you in there. All of our music classes for 9th grade are alternate day, and you'll alternate it with PE 9. The music classes are all year long, but they only meet every other day. And please don't get confused by the name of the music class. We know what class you're supposed to be in. I will make sure that I work with the music teachers to put you in the right music classes for next year. Just one thing about the Chesapeake Career Center, a lot of students are like, oh my gosh, Mr. Cohen, when can I go take welding or cosmetology or automotive repair? That is something that's typically for rising 11th and 12th graders. We want to make sure that you get all of your graduation requirements and that you're on track in 9th and 10th grade, so you have plenty of room to go to the Chesapeake Career Center, but you would be able to apply to go there for those types of classes as early as 10th grade for your junior year. All right, a couple scheduling myths about the high school, things that I hear all the time. Number one, certain classes in high school don't receive high school credit. False. Every single class that you pass, you get a high school credit. Number two, you have to take a foreign language to graduate from high school. False. We talked about that earlier. The standard diploma does not require a foreign language. Now, some colleges are fine with you getting a standard diploma, and they may want one or two foreign languages to be able to apply, but you do not have to take any foreign languages to graduate from high school. Number three, you have to have an advanced studies diploma to get into college, and we just talked about that. That's false. A lot of colleges will say, as long as you meet their admissions requirements, they will take a standard diploma. Now, of course, schools like Harvard or UVA, William & Mary, Duke, Virginia Tech, JMU, they're looking for the advanced studies diploma for sure. Number four, you have to take honors classes to get into college. False. As long as you're making good grades, even in regular classes, you will get accepted to many, many great colleges. Number five, PE and elective classes aren't as important as core classes. False. Those grades count just the same way that any core classes do. Number six, you can get by without doing homework and turning it in. False. That's one of the reasons our students' grades suffer so much, is they either don't do the homework or they do the homework and they forget to turn it in. Number seven, you have to take honors classes to be an honor graduate. False. You do not have to take honors classes to be an honor graduate. When you're a senior, in order to be an honor graduate, you have to have a 3.0 overall weighted GPA. All right, so what I need you all to do, 8th graders, is finish strong. Make sure you're doing everything you can with your 8th grade teachers to be better prepared for high school with us next year. I know a couple of you may be saying, well, what about sports? I want to play football. I want to be a cheerleader. What do I have to do to be eligible? In order to be eligible, you just have to get through 8th grade. You have to be enrolled as a full-time student for 9th grade next year. And then you need to make sure you're passing 3 out of 4 classes every semester, and that you are maintaining a grade point average of a 2.0, which is a C average or higher. For athletics at the high school, there's 3 seasons, and let's talk about all the different sports we have. In the fall, you can see these are all the different sports: field hockey, football, cheering, competition cheer, cross country, volleyball, and golf. A lot of these sports will start conditioning in the springtime or the summer, so it's very important that you stay in touch with Indian River High School and our athletic director to make sure you know when this stuff is happening. For winter sports, we have swimming, basketball, cheering, indoor track, wrestling, and gymnastics. And then, of course, for spring sports, we have tennis, softball, baseball, track, and soccer. If you are an 8th grader and you want to play JV baseball this spring, you are eligible to play. All you need to do is scan this QR code, fill out some information, and Coach Bowles, our varsity baseball coach, will get in touch with you. And remember how I talked about you have to have a 2.0 GPA to be eligible for all sports. These are also some things at Indian River High School that fall under VHSL, the Virginia High School League, that you will need to maintain good grades, and you will need to make sure that you are passing 3 out of 4 classes each semester. The 2.0 rule is a Chesapeake rule, but you have to pass 3 out of 4 classes every semester for these things like one-act play, forensics team, debate, and academic challenge. If you are interested in playing JV soccer and you're an 8th grader this year, you are eligible to play. You would just need to get in touch with our athletic director, Mr. Overton, and this is his email address, kurt.overton@cpschools.com. So 8th graders and parents, if you have any questions about any of the sports, including JV soccer for this year, please email Mr. Overton and he will be glad to assist. If you are interested in Air Force Junior ROTC or AVID, here's the contact information. Remember, AVID, if you want to apply, you need to make sure you scan this QR code and fill out the application by January 27th. If you currently go to Indian River Middle School and you're already in AVID, you do not need to scan the QR code. You don't have to do an application because you're already in AVID, but you do need to make sure you sign up for AVID as one of your electives. All right, and that's it. Again, my name is Mr. Cohen, the School Counseling Director. I look forward to working with all of you over the next couple months. But if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and make sure you follow the timeline, and make sure you check Parent View and Student View on March 3rd to see the classes that you are signed up for next year. Thank you for watching.